Alright everyone, this is another weather update. Today is September 12th and the time is 9:27 p.m. so it's a little bit late in the evening. I'm going to give an update on a couple severe weather events that are going to be possible. One just recently went through earlier today, associated with the same front that's going to be moving through most of southern Michigan throughout the next 2 days, then continuing southward and eastward throughout the entirety of the first half of this week. And then we're also going to be talking about Hurricane Nicholas that is expected to cause major flooding in Texas. So there's a current forecast that could say up to 20 inches of rain in places such as Galveston, those places on the southeast side along the Gulf of Mexico. This tropical storm just formed earlier, and it is now going to move in and cause quite a bit of heavy rainfall as a Category 1 hurricane. A little bit of storm surge. So we're going to delve into that this evening. But before we get into it, I wanted to remind you, so our text notification system has changed quite a bit. If you want to get a more accurate depiction of what that is, you can scan that QR code if you're watching on desktop with your phone, or you can access any of our social media sites. So just show that every time during the video so that you can see how you can get connected or contact me with any questions you can have. GreatLakesWeather@gmail.com actually does not exist anymore. The second email will work for connections. So with that, I'm just going to get started. So here is the Storm Prediction Center's website. You just had that batch of strong to severe thunderstorms move through western Michigan. There's still a watch out for that batch. There's actually some damaging winds that came out of that. Reports of damaging winds, around 5 damaging wind reports, 8 reports of some pretty significant hail, or hail that's notable. So that's moving off to the east. That's going to head off into western New York, those areas along Lake Ontario. I wanted to show you the severe weather threats that are now issued for the next couple of days. So southern Michigan again is in a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. Same general area, just moving just slightly southward. This threat is somewhat conditional. All of these threats are really conditional, but there's multiple threats. The storms that we had last month that left a significant amount of damage around Clear Lake. I just visited Clear Lake near White Pigeon earlier today, and the damage is still substantial. Trees down all over the place. The roads are cleared out. There's still power lines down. So it's been a month since those storms hit, and there's still significant damage. They did confirm that there was actually a tornado in Clear Lake. So a very devastating situation there. A lot of building repairs taking place still on a Sunday. So pretty intense stuff there. But this is for tomorrow. Marginal risk. Tornado risk is low. Really the main threats for southern Michigan are damaging winds and hail, and then maybe some trailing thunderstorms along the southern edge in northern Indiana, northern Ohio. Could be possible, but it's more than likely that it will stay in the area shaded in dark green. So that is tomorrow. I want to go to Tuesday because this threat could actually pan out to be something a little bit more substantial if models tend to adjust. Really the big concern here and why they're leaving it as a marginal risk is their concern if there will be enough deep layer shear in the atmosphere in order to produce more substantial severe weather. But really, again, the main threats appear to be conditionally damaging winds and large hail. If deep layer shear tends to develop, there could be some increases in this severe weather potential, but right now it's going to remain marginal. I wanted to go to the model. There's actually some pretty interesting things about the model I wanted to show you. So this is the NAM 3K model. Gives a good depiction of the next few days in regards to potential severe weather. This is the batch of strong thunderstorms that moved through earlier this evening across central lower Michigan. Some are still progressing on the eastern side of it. Take a look at the temperatures. The temperature map. So on the southern side of this, you can see temperatures are still around the 70s. I'm looking at my current temperature reading right now at 9:32. It's 73 outside my house right now. 76, 79. Places to the south are just in the 80s. And then you have that little spot where that cold front is sitting. It's just sitting over us. So on the northern side of this, you have temperatures that are already down in the 50s in places such as the Upper Peninsula, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Northern lower Michigan is in the 60s. So there's a pretty decent temperature difference here, and that's what is really fueling these thunderstorms. This cold front's meeting up with the heat that's coming from the south, the heat and moisture that's fueling the instability. So yeah, the dew points are pretty high across much of the southern Michigan area. Dew points in the 70s. That makes it feel quite painful outside and very sticky outside. So that's why these storms are just thriving in this little area here, and they're just slowly moving southward because this front is just moving so slow along this 570 line that you see here, and it's just going to continue to move slow and through our area through Tuesday. So that's why we're concerned about potential for severe weather throughout the week. I'm going to progress to Monday morning. They're actually saying there's going to be some spotty little rain showers here and there across much of the area. This is at 1 a.m. So then we just keep moving. I want to get to the afternoon because that's when things really start to fire off. Monday is a very conditional severe weather threat event. Even if I take a look at a forecast sounding for, let's take a look at this time here. This is at 6 p.m. It'll be very conditional. I don't even know if it'll show up as a... So there is a tornado threat, in fact, it's showing on the NAM model for classic supercell development. I still think that threat is... I think the models are really showing this. I don't think that's going to be as significant as they say it's going to be. Dew points still in the mid-70s, so St. Joe County, Kalamazoo County has the highest dew points, so storms could really take off if they meet this little region shaded in purple or in blue. That's when we could see some severe weather. I think it's going to stay more on the northern side, just given the fact that this cold front's slow moving, depending on where it goes. There's going to be a lot. I want to take a look at shear, because shear is kind of a big factor that's going to play into how well these storms develop. A little bit of shear out there, 60 knots. That's just the bulk shear. If I get a supercell composite reading on this, supercell composite reading is actually saying that there's some pretty decent chance for some supercells across southern lower Michigan, Kalamazoo County, St. Joe County. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this, because the models are actually looking pretty favorable for some potential severe storm development tomorrow. Cape levels are 4,000. I don't know. This could actually be a pretty decent event if we see these models actually align. But then you have the HRR model that puts that cape a little bit north, and it's saying that it's going to be less than what is being forecasted by the NAM. NAM likes to go on the higher side of things. Supercell composite's a lot lower for the HRR. What about... So if we look at also potentially the GFS, really what we look for in regards to these models is if models align really well with each other in regards to development of storms. That's when we can really come up with a much better forecast on the potential for severe weather. The NAM is putting out something that's actually quite, quite, I guess, overestimating it. I'd say it's still putting out that threat for a tornado, but they're aware of it. The Storm Prediction Center is aware of it, and that's why they put out the marginal risk for severe weather for day 2. So that's something that is going to have to just something to be aware of. The potential for severe weather does exist, but it is going to be conditional. So that is for Monday. I want to take a look at Tuesday, because Tuesday's threat might be a little bit more substantial. We're going to go all the way up to Tuesday at about 3 p.m. You've got a nice little chain of thunderstorms developing as that cold front starts to head southward, still showing the possible hazard type of tornadoes. Surface Cape is about 3,300 according to the NAM. What does the HRR say? HRR is not even putting out the threat for some thunderstorms during this time. So it does say there's a threat for severe weather. Conditions are favorable for it. And this is rolling it back a couple hours because the HRR can't forecast it too far out. But let's go back to the NAM. where we were at, right about here. So looking at dew points during this time, dew points in the mid-70s, that's favorable for a good amount of instability in regards to severe weather potential. So heat index, it's going to be a hot one on Tuesday, I'd say. This is later in the evening, so things are starting to cool down a little bit. But if we go back a little bit, 85, 87, dew points will make it feel quite sticky, quite uncomfortable out there. So let's go to, I want to see the shear, because shear is the big thing that's going to drive these storms. Deep layer shear is really low. That's going to be kind of an issue for these storms to really take off. 22 knots. It's not really. Should this shear start to move move a little more eastward with the front, there could be more of a substantial severe weather event if that were to take place. But it looks like it's going to stay off to the north, meaning that this shear right here won't make it as favorable for the production of things such as tornadoes. So, but it is showing on the sounding that is a possible hazard type, but I think this is going to be more of a severe wind event or hail event. So you've got a little bit of a jagged line of showers and thunderstorms that's going to move through, and it's going to continue to intensify throughout the evening. This is 8 p.m., right about sunset. So the storms will continue to be fueled up and progress southeastward. You get kind of a mesocyclonic chain of thunderstorms moving southeastward overnight into places such as Ohio. But the severe weather event looks like it will be lessened as you get southward. So similarly, southern lower Michigan is the target area for severe weather. I may potentially chase the storms on Tuesday. Tomorrow, probably not, but Tuesday looks like maybe a day where I could see some good storms. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show for the severe weather threat, those models. But something else I wanted to take a look at is the excessive rainfall outlook. So the threat for excessive rainfall, or pretty much the rain that could lead to areas of flooding or flash flooding. There's a marginal risk for flash flooding across southern Michigan, northern Indiana, northwest Ohio for Tuesday. So there could be a little bit of heavy rainfall with these storms, and the kind that produces flash flooding. Like last week we had those severe thunderstorms in Battle Creek, and there was some flash flooding across roads, almost got stuck. So quite an intense situation in Battle Creek after those storms rolled through. And you might notice down here in Texas, you have a moderate risk for potential flash flooding. That is because we have a new tropical storm to talk about, Tropical Storm Nicholas, which the new forecasts are showing that it could make landfall as a hurricane across areas such as southeastern Texas, Galveston, those kinds of areas. And it's going to move kind of slow through Texas after it makes landfall, the tropical depression. It'll just be fueled by moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. So it might make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. Potential rainfall totals are getting up to 15 to 20 inches of rainfall across southeastern Texas, areas near Houston. You guys probably are very familiar with what took place during Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Harvey dumped, I believe it was 56 to 60 inches of rain across areas along southeast Texas because it just sat over that area, and it destroyed levee systems. It pretty much left a huge cleanup across that area, one of the worst flooding scenarios that has ever taken place in that region. So hopefully this doesn't become another Harvey, but some models have put out a lot of significant rainfall with this storm. So overall, there's a moderate risk for flash flooding, especially in Houston. That's a major city, Lake Charles. So definitely got to be careful if you're living in that area, and make sure and if you have friends that live in southeastern Texas. I have some friends that live kind of near Longview, which is in northeastern Texas. Contacted them, make sure they don't have any friends down there. but we'll see what happens in regards to this. Hopefully it doesn't become another Harvey. We definitely don't want that. But that's basically the whole entirety of what's going to be going on over the next few days, the stuff to keep track on. So go ahead and leave a comment if you have a question. There's quite a bit of activity that's going to be taking place in the atmosphere over the next couple of days. So leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe, and hopefully this video provided enough information that you need to be prepared for whatever weather events are going to come over the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time another storm hits the area.